Hi guys, today we're going to discuss and review place value. So let's look at the number I have here on the screen. 4,567,893. All right, so let's think about what each of these places are called. So the 3 is in which place? Yes, the 3 is in the ones place. How about the 9? The 9, yes, the 9 is in the tens place. What about the 8? The 8 is in the hundreds place. Who knows what the 7 is? Yes, the 7 is in the thousands place. How about the 6? If you said 10,000, you are correct. And the 5, if you said hundred thousands, you are on a roll. And the 4 is in the, yes, millions place. All right, so here is our place value with each number labeled with what place it is in. Now, let's think about this. Let's think about the value of each of these digits. So knowing what place they're in, we can think about their value. All right, so how much is this 4 worth? Yeah, the 4 is worth 4 million. What about the 5? Yeah, the 5 is worth 500,000. The 6 is worth 60,000. The 7 is worth 7,000. The 8 is in the hundreds place and it is worth 800. The 9 is in the tens place and it is worth 90. And the 3 is in the ones place and it is equal to 3 ones. Okay, so this is how we write a number in expanded form. And we write an expanded form by thinking about the value of each digit in our number. Now, can we add this number into a place value chart? Sure, we can. How many millions were in our number? Yeah, there were 4 millions. What about hundred thousands? There were 500,000s. There were 6 10,000s. There were 7 thousands, 8 hundreds, 9 tens, and 3 ones. So, thinking about place value and whole numbers is very easy. We've been doing that since kindergarten. We know our place value. We know the value of our digits. But what if I said, how can I show place value for a fraction? So what if I had the fraction 2 tenths? And I want to put that on a place value chart. Do you see anywhere down here that I could put 2 tenths? Well, let's think. What do I know about 2 tenths in relation to whole numbers? Well, I know that fractions are less than a whole. So if 1 is actually my whole, where is something that's less than 1? Well, thinking about my place value, as we go left, we know it gets greater, right? The value of our digits get greater by 10 times greater. If I wanted a place value that was less than a whole, it would only make sense that maybe we're going this way. But, this is all blank space here. So how can I find place value that's less than a whole if there's never, ever been something on our place value charts for that? Whew, goodness gracious. Well, what if I were to tell you that there actually are more place values? And our first one, right to the right of our ones, is the tenths. And the tenths are a decimal place. Okay, does everyone see this decimal point right here? Okay, now, do you remember when we were reading numbers in the beginning of the year? And we, worked very hard to say 4,567,893. And do you remember what I said? You can never, ever, ever, ever say when reading numbers. Yes, the word and. I always said you cannot say the word and. We couldn't say 4,567,893,000. We were not allowed to use the word and when reading numbers. And one of the reasons for that was because when we're talking about decimal place value, the word and goes with a decimal point. So anytime we see a decimal point, we say the word and. So we said, what about 2/10, right? How could we write 2/10 on a place value chart? Well, what do I notice about my place value chart and my fraction here? Well, this word sounds familiar. Tenths. When I think about tenths, I actually think about fractions, 2/10. We also have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. Okay? So fractions and decimals go together. Okay, we can write fractions as decimals and we can write decimals as fractions. So 2/10. How do I think I would show 2/10? What number should I write in my tenths place value chart? I'm going to put my decimal point and then I'm going to write a 2. How many ones? How many whole numbers? 0. So I can say 0 and 2/10, or I could just say 2/10. So what I do notice is that when I'm reading the fraction, I say 2/10, and when I read this decimal, I say 2/10. They are equivalent. They are equal to one another. All right, well, let's think about this. What if I had 9/10? What number would I write in my tenths place? Yes, I would write a 9, 9/10. Okay, so now, once we are familiar with the place value of the tenths, let's take a look at some visual pictures. What do you notice about these pictures here? Yeah, they're base 10 blocks, right? They are split into tenths. Very good. All right, so they want us to write a decimal and a fraction shown by each square. Well, I'm going to tell you, because we are just learning our decimals, it's much easier to write your fraction first. Okay, so let's think. Okay, how many shaded in? 1 out of how many altogether? 1/10. All right, on Google Docs, you're going to actually be able to type in your answers. So when typing the fractions, you have to put a 1, a slash, and then a 10. And that's how you're going to write 1/10. Okay? So we have 1/10, 1/10, both the ways to write it. Now, how would I write that as a decimal? Well, let me go back again to my place value chart and let me check this out. Okay, so it was a decimal point and a 2 for 2/10. So that must mean for 1/10, it's going to be, sorry, I was going the wrong way. One-tenth. Make sure you leave enough space in between your two things that you type so I can easily read it. 0 and 1/10. All right, let's check out the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths. And I'm going to say 4 tenths. And I would type that as 4 tenths, space a bunch of times, and say 0.4. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tenths. And 8 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths. And 6 tenths. Okay, these are equivalent ways to write the same value. Your classwork looks just like this. It's a colorful sheet with different decimals represented by pictures, and you're going to write the fraction and the decimal. One of them actually has nothing colored in. So if nothing is colored in, how many tenths do you have? Yeah, you would have 0 tenths. And it would just be 0 tenths and 0 tenths. Okay, then for your homework, it's very similar. You're going to have something that looks like this, and they're going to be colored in, and it says write the decimal, fraction, and word name. Word name is just how we say it, we write it. So let's see. I'm going to color something in here for us, and we're going to... Okay, so let's see. First, again, I don't care what order it's written in up here. You can write them in whatever order you want. Just make sure you include all three. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is the fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. Well, I didn't mean to do that. 7 tenths. Now as a decimal, 0.7. Now how do I say that? 7 tenths. So that's how I'm going to write it in word form. 7 tenths. Make sure you have the tenths there. Otherwise it's just 7 tens. And think about it. 7 tens equals 70. Okay, so you need to be careful. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, so it is 1 tenth, 1 tenth, and 1 tenth. Again, in Google Docs, you're going to be able to type these in. There are text boxes there for you to type in the answers. And remember, when typing for the fraction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's going to be slash to show your fraction, 6 tenths. 0.6, and then I would say 6 tenths. All right, so this is what your homework looks like. I believe there are 6 problems. Okay? Okay, so after you watch the video, you're going to complete the classwork and submit it through Google Classroom. And then you're going to complete the homework and also submit that through Google Classroom. Your classwork must be submitted today. For your homework, you can submit it today or tomorrow. Those of you that have not signed up for Google Classroom yet, please make sure you do so today because it's going to make everything much easier going forward. But if you have not signed up for Google Classroom yet, I sent an email to those people, including PDFs of the classwork and homework that you can print out and have your child fill out and then take a picture and email it to me. All right, I'll see you later at our Zoom. And again, our Zoom time has changed. My Zoom session is now 5:30 to 6, and Mrs. Karras is actually 4 to 4:30. So I will see you later at 5:30. Can't wait. Bye.